All right, so we are live for a huge trade here. Duncan Keith, pending trade call, will be going to the Edmonton Oilers. I know I have terrible quality right now. I'm in the middle of going to somewhere else, but I need to make a video about this, a live stream about this, because we have a lot to talk about today. If you are watching this in the replay, though, we're going to be breaking down everything that you need to know about this trade on Duncan Keith, to Caleb Jones's sides, and we're going to be breaking down both teams in this trade. So make sure, of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you do so for daily hockey content here. But Duncan Keith is going to the Edmonton Oilers, and oh my gosh, I can't believe they did this. I can't believe they did this. But let's get straight into it. Okay, so from Frank Saravelli, pending trade calls, sounds like the Hawks' Duncan Keith will indeed be heading to the Oilers in exchange for Caleb Jones and a mid-round pick, a third or a fourth rounder. So the final details are still being ironed out, but it looks like Duncan Keith and Caleb Jones will be involved in this trade. And man, this was rumored right from the very start that it would be a Duncan Keith and Caleb Jones trade, and I don't know why still in the first place they wanted to do this, but we got 130 in this chat. Thank you guys for coming in. Let me know in the chat down below and in the comments as well if you're coming by this video afterwards. Let me know in the chat, who do you guys think won this trade, if it is this trade, Chicago or Edmonton? Let me know. But it's... Man, I had so much hope like a week ago that Edmonton was not going to make a Duncan Keith trade. It seemed like they were kind of souring on the idea, or at least that they were not going to give up a big asset. But even though, okay, this is the thing. Straight up, Duncan Keith for Caleb Jones is a bad trade, but Caleb Jones might have been the guy they lost in the expansion draft. So in that case, you get Duncan Keith, I guess. But if they're giving up a third round pick on top of it, I don't know why. I don't know why. Duncan Keith is washed up. Let's be real here. Let's be just straight with the facts. Ever since 2015, he has been on the decline. And he still has value. In some ways, I think he does still have value. The cup wins, obviously. A lot of leadership, a lot of great playoff experience there. That will help the Oilers. Nobody's denying that. The leadership there, nobody's denying he will help the Oilers. But I'm looking at it like this. Duncan Keith, you're giving up two pretty big assets for him. You're bringing in that cap space. So we'll see if there's any salary retention here. But you're giving up those assets to be a good, valuable leader on that team, right? So why are you trading a young defenseman who would have been a part of that great value leadership that Duncan Keith would have brought on? He would have been able to teach a guy like Caleb Jones. Why isn't Jones here for it? Why was Jones the guy that you give up? And yes, sure, there's good young defensemen there still, and Darnell Nurse and Ethan Bear, but if you're getting him for the leadership, if you're getting him for the mentorship, don't you want to have Caleb Jones there still? I don't know. This is just a confusing one for me. I saw this on Twitter, of course, from Frank Saravelli, and from what it looks like, we haven't had any other updates. So again, I am hoping and begging that at least it's like 50% retained. If this has no retention and it's for a third round pick and Caleb Jones, the Oilers are deserve to lose Connor McDavid. Like they deserve to lose Connor McDavid. They deserve to have him have the exact same thing as Jack Eichel in his situation. They deserve to do it because at this point, Ken Holland just does not care. I mean, just look at last trade deadline. Just obviously that Oilers team needed a lot more than just one move. But Ken Holland went out this last trade deadline and said, "Hey, we don't want to use our future assets. We got to keep those future assets." And then look how it happened, buddy. Look how that worked out for you. Look how that worked. You got swept, and now you're bringing in Duncan Keith. Oh, you don't want to give up any young assets. Okay, I was kidding. Oh my goodness, did we just get a donation? HSM Fangirl, gave me the silver for the 279. At least keep it below the Canucks. Yes, so for any Canucks fan, any Flames fan, any fan of any Western Canadian team, you guys should get some W's in the comments, some W's in the chat. If you guys are Canucks fans or Flames fans, because man, the Oilers just saved you from atrocity. But I also want to say again, if you guys are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We make daily hockey content here, and I'm sorry I'm in this setup at the moment. At the house that flooded and in transitional transitional period, maybe going to another place potentially. Oh my goodness, James and Tristan coming out of the nations. James with a 2 says a great trade, and then Tristan with the 7. As a Wings fan, this brings me flashbacks to the Holland days. Thank you so much, James. Great trade. I see you. And Tristan with the 7. Honestly, yeah, this is giving me like 2014. Oh, let's sign it wasn't 2012 or something. But this is giving me like 2012. Oh, let's sign Justin Applicator for like 7 years. It's giving me that kind of Ken Holland vibes. I don't know about you guys. We got 230 people in this chat. Thank you guys for coming in. Make sure you hit that like button as well to get the stream out there. New people, boys, absolutely appreciate it. And subscribe if you're new. Thank you for the donations coming by today. Let me see if I can actually bring up the what is it? The thingamabobber. But I did want to talk about Duncan Keith specifically here because, again, I think in a lot of ways people will say he has still value, and I do agree with that. I still think Duncan Keith has value. I still think there's value to be had in a guy like that, even if he is past his prime, even though he is in the States. He can still have a lot of leadership there, still bring a lot to Edmonton that they don't really have. And I will say that they don't really have a guy that is that experience, that has that much of a pedigree on that defense. I mean, a 2-time Stanley Cup or 3-time Stanley Cup winner, 2-time Norris winner, Conn Smythe in 2015, which was absolutely deserved. But this guy's 37. And even though his contract is only for this next year, and I believe the year after that as well, still in the end, if there's no salary retained, I just don't get where Edmonton's coming from with this trade. You're trying to make I get, again, bringing in the leadership, but we talked about on this channel before, cup winners bringing in great experience that can actually play hockey, that can actually play the game well. Tampa did that. They brought in a guy like Pat Maroon, who wasn't just a guy who had the cup wins. He also had the play to back it up, and he came through in the big moments. Duncan Keith, if you traded for him in like 2016, yeah, he would have had that experience. He would have had that pedigree, and he still would have been a great player then. But this is 2021, and this is a 37-year-old Duncan Keith who, coming off this last year, had probably the worst year of his career. Probably. I mean, he was playing up to 23. Then the big thing I want to also mention here is that the time on ice is not going to be the same from Chicago to Edmonton. This past season, his average time on ice was 23 minutes, and that is something to definitely keep note, because if he does play more of like a 16-minute, 17-minute role, then I think Keith could be a lot more comfortable and could have a decent season. And again, with his pedigree, with that leadership, I think that could help. But in the end, you're still giving up pretty major assets here in Caleb Jones, in a mid-round pick, which could be a third. That, to me, really bugs me the wrong way. Anyways, you get what I mean. It's a pretty big risk, and I do think there is potential for it to work out. But when you're looking at what Edmonton needs, when you're looking at they already brought in guys up in the Oh my goodness! Thank you for the 2, James. Duncan Keith was a bad contract. I mean, is a bad contract. But thankfully for Edmonton, it's not like a 5-year deal left or something. It's this year or next, so it's not going to be a huge bearing on their long-term cap plans. But I still think it's going to hurt. Like, again, if there's no salary retained, there has to be, right? No, oh my goodness! No! Okay, I didn't see this until now. According to Elliot Friedman, Keith to Chicago for Caleb Jones and a third. No salary retained! No! Dude. This is what Ken Holland does to a man. Can we get some else in the chat for the Edmonton? I don't even love Edmonton, man. I just want to see Conor McDavid get a ring. And wait, how are they gonna do this? Okay, Edmonton has $16 million left in cap space right now, right? $60 million left. Now with the Duncan Keith trade, they'll have like $11 million, let's say. They have to sign Kailer Yamamoto, which is probably gonna take about 3.5 out of that, they apparently want to sign Adam Larson, which is going to take some of that. And they also want to sign Mike Smith. So they won't even have any. I don't think they're going to have enough to get all three of those guys, let alone more guys that they actually need to make the team better. They need to make the team better. On paper, on the ice. I love the intangibles. Get a leadership guy. Can he play? Thank you so much for the 549 Edmonton might as well forfeit from the league right now. You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. Why does everybody want to help Chicago? Man, I cannot. Ken Holland, I need to. No, dude. You gave up Jones and a third. Just imagine what you could, just imagine what else you could have gotten there. No salary retained. You could have just gotten let's just say this for a second. I know he doesn't have the 3 Stanley Cups like Duncan Keith, but you know who would have been so much more cost effective than to bring on that Keith contract? Jamie Alexiak. I mean, I know I'm a Dallas Stars fan, but he's the most underrated defensive physical D-man in the league. You could have gone for like $4 million. You could have gotten him for $4 million, would have made your defense way better than Duncan Keith will make it. Let's be honest here. The offense might be decent, but the defense won't be there. He hasn't had the defense in like 5 years. You could have brought in Jamie Alexiak for free. For free. But the defense class is it has options. You could have brought in David Savard. He wouldn't have costed that much more. Maybe like 6, maybe 6.5. But you give $1 million more for David Savard, who can actually still play, who just won the cup. And obviously, it's no guarantee you can bring him onto Edmonton. But you have Connor McDavid, you have Leon Draisaitl, and with Oscar Klefbom gone and Tyson Barrie gone, you could have guaranteed some power play time to a couple of guys, right? Am I the only one that thinks that way? I think you could have gotten somebody for free that can play so much better than Duncan Keith. And I know the intangibles. I know the character. I know the leadership. That is good. But again, I've talked about it so many times. Stanley Cup winners don't have guys that just have leadership. They have leadership guys that can play the game. They can play hockey. And Hayden, thank you so much before official. Let me see. Who is it official by the Twitter accounts right now? Let me just make sure. All right, not official on the Oilers account. What about the Blackhawks? I know it's pretty much official. Yeah, pretty much official. All right, so neither social media team has tweeted that out, but again, coming from Elliot Freeman, Kiefer Jones had a third, no salary retained. You know what? Let me bring that tweet up. Man, I'm not even an Oilers fan, man. I'm not even an Oilers fan. Yet they do this. Like, if you're an Oilers fan in the chat, let me know what you guys are thinking right now, because I don't even know I don't even know what I would do. I don't know there were so many Oilers fans as well during this whole process. All right, so there you go. Elliot Freeman, Keith to Chicago for Caleb Jones and a third, no salary retained. That is official right there. Let me make it a little bit more fancy. There we go. So there you go. We got 369 nice people in the chat. Get some nice in the chat down below. Get some W's, get some L's. Let me know what you guys think of this trade. Who do you guys see winning, Edmonton or Chicago? I'll get to some of your messages in a second here. Sabres are working on a deal with Chicago? Nah, you're trolling. Nah. Go with you trolling. This is what Holland does. Thank goodness Detroit has Yzerman. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Exactly, Adam. Honestly, Ken Holland doesn't really know what to do with the cap. Like, I'm sorry. He just doesn't know what to do with the cap. And Edmonton, the team that needs to know what they need to know what to do with the cap. And I can see the argument for trading for Keith, giving up Jones, giving up a third if it's 50% retained. I can see the argument there. You'd be like 2.5, only this year, next. You bring the leadership there. But, dude. Let me just see if it's official and cap friendly. Because Okay, it's not. All right, let's just take a gander at Duncan Keith's contract. So Duncan Keith makes $5.5 million for intangibles. And again, there was reports like just a few days ago that they weren't going to make this trade, that they were withdrawing from trading a guy like Jones. And they do it, and they give him a third, no salary retention. I'm so disappointed right now, man. I'm so disappointed right now. So once again, if you're just coming in here, guys, we got 450 absolutely amazing peeps in here. No salary retention on this deal. Keith and Jones exchange with a third going as well Chicago's way. Make sure, of course, you guys hit that like button. We're 19 away from 100. Let's get it going. Thanks for the donations so far from guys like Hayden. Appreciate it a ton. I am oh yeah, I guess I didn't realize Freeman said keep to Chicago. well yes, this is a real trade that happened. I guess Elliot Freeman just had a typo or something. It's Keith to Edmonton. That really. I like Keith, but no salary retention. Exactly, Barty. Like, I think there was an argument to be made if this trade happened, it was 50% retained. Maybe Edmonton is able to make something happen with this and make it a good deal, but no salary retention. And the biggest problem, like, if it was no salary retention, it was just this next year on Duncan Keith's contract, you could still make the argument that, hey, it doesn't really matter too much. It's this year and next. I mean, who do they have to re-sign next year? Let's just take a look. Who does Edmonton need to sign next year that this 5.5 will take away from? Jesse Pugliarvi, who will probably get a pretty handsome raise. You also have after next year, no way! They have to re-sign Nurse and Ethan Bear. But the offseason has officially begun with the first trade of the offseason. Let's go. Can we get some W's in the chat for the first trade of the offseason? It's gone down, and we'll have a lot more to come. Thank you guys so much for coming in and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Duncan Keith is an Oiler, and good luck to Edmonton. I'll see you in the next one, though, boys. Absolutely appreciate you. And